If that was true, then there were still some criminals from the dam protest. I thought perhaps that would happen again on the night of the third-year festival. My hunch was right. But at first it looked so natural I didn't think it was an incident. The festival was near its end and the village officials were gathered under the main tent. They opened their beers and enjoyed the leftover corn and braised cow tripe from the refreshment stands. I was in the main tent too, being entertained by the villagers. So I was actually there at the crime scene of the third-year incident when it happened. Yet I didn't notice anything about the beginning of the incident. Hey Furude, what's the matter? Are you feeling sick? Most of the elderly people in the village were heavy drinkers, but there were a few who weren't. The priest was one of the latter. The priest was a representative as well as a host during the Watanagashi festival. Every time visitors and guests arrived, he greeted them, and each time he was offered a drink, so by the night's end he was pretty much beaten. That's why I didn't think anything of it to see the priest sitting by himself in a folding chair. The village leader, Kimiyoshi, was the one to tap his shoulder and ask if he's okay. Are you okay? Ha ha, you drank too much, didn't you? Huh? Did your chest hurt? Sorry, I think I'm a little tired. Hey, do you have a bad heart? Getting sudden pains isn't a good sign. Dr. Ire! Dr. Ire! What's wrong? Is it your chest? That's not good. When I saw him, he was covered in terrible sweat, and he was definitely not relaxing in his chair, enjoying the cool evening breeze. The color of his face was horrible, and I thought he should lie down immediately. I should probably go to the clinic. Take you to the clinic. Are you okay? Can you hold on to my shoulder? Hey, someone help! The priest doesn't feel well. What's wrong with my husband? Dear, are you okay? Takano! Perfect timing. The priest doesn't feel well, so I'm going to take him to the clinic. Could you please have the car come around here? Sure. No problem. Fuck off. So the priest and his wife headed to the clinic with Dr. Ira. Did no one think that was suspicious? You just chuckling in this fucking horrible situation where this guy's having horrible chest pains. Oh, haha. This is all a joke. Everyone's freaking out. She's just laughing. It's okay. No one thinks it's odd. I mean, you don't suspect foul play, but you think she's fucking crazy as shit. I don't know about young people, but elderly people know their own bodies well. They almost never push themselves to the point where they start feeling sick. Well, I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. There's a lot of things old people do that are not exactly the smartest thing for their body. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. But they are probably more aware of what they can and can't do with their body, for the most part. Especially someone like the priest. It was hard to imagine him drinking himself sick. My cumulative experience over the years was telling me something. I headed to the Urian clinic just in case. I tried to follow the car, but because the festival was almost over and all the stands were closing up, there was a lot of traffic going in and out, making it almost impossible for me to leave the temporary parking lot. More than 20 minutes had passed since the priest was carried in by the time I arrived at the clinic. 20 minutes. If it didn't take 20 minutes, my involvement in this year's incident would have been quite different. When I realized how crowded the parking lot was, I should have started to walk. All I get to do now is to jot down the facts. Because between the time the priest left the festival and the time I arrived at the clinic, during these 20 minutes, this year's curse had taken place. The priest's condition changes for worse right after he arrives at the clinic. He dies. The autopsy results say it was heart failure, but how can I accept that? I don't think the priest was having health problems, and everyone is taken by surprise by this sudden event. Moreover, the wife of the priest is gone. According to the clinic staff, she was with him right after the priest died, but she is nowhere to be seen now. Of course, she's not home either. At this point, I thought maybe someone poisoned the priest. During the dam conflict, the priest was frowned upon for his remarks. He said there was no need for making a big fuss because the damn construction would be cancelled anyway. Some elderly people didn't forget this, and even say he isn't worthy of Oyashiro-sama's shrine. At least that's what I heard. I call for backup and have them go searching for the missing wife. Because just like the couple's accident from 2 years ago, it's very possible for both the husband and the wife to be victims. The youth group of the village gathered and searched from the village to the mountain, and as a result, we find a set of sandals and a will by Onagafuchi Swamp. The will says something like her husband's death is the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and she is throwing herself in the swamp to calm Oyashiro-sama's anger. Yeah, that doesn't sound like her at all. At all. It suggests she committed a suicide by jumping into the swamp. The rumors say the Onagafuchi Swamp is a bottomless swamp and is connected to the world of demons. Once you sink, you'll never come back. Divers from the police searched the swamp, but her body was nowhere to be found. Yeah, but I thought they dived in. I thought you can't, go into the swamp. Why are divers going in if it's so bottomless? It seems that the past two mysterious incidences were solved individually, just as the higher-ups in the police say. But something is odd about this year's mysterious death incident. The old priest was carried to the clinic. His wife accompanied him. Within 20 minutes, the priest died of heart failure, and the wife either committed a suicide or disappeared. I think it's odd that she just up and goes within fucking 20 minutes, gets to her place, writes down a letter about, she's committing suicide, all that. Go to the swamp and then jump in. I don't buy it. The death, well, obviously I don't at this point, but I probably wouldn't have. Had I known that it was like 20 minutes and she disappeared, I wouldn't. That's pretty fucking suspicious. I'm not buying this suicide shit. Especially if, it said the 20-minute thing. And, he just died. There's no way. I just don't see it. Even in the most grief-stricken people, I don't think they would do that within 20 minutes. I think they would sit there and cry for a little bit longer than just that. So, I probably would have labeled it as suspicious, but just hearing that, he died of a disease and then she committed suicide, even that was kind of, but, Oishi, you better not fucking believe this. The death of the priest may really have been a fatal heart attack, but for his wife to assume that that's the curse and to commit suicide by jumping into the swamp, for all that to happen in 20 minutes just doesn't seem natural. Exactly. The Furude family has no relatives. Even if she was a true believer of Oyashiro-sama, how could she commit a suicide, leaving her one and only daughter? And she clearly cares about her. I mean, she has her best intentions at heart. Especially when it, the clinic thing. She's not the most loving mother, but she still has her daughter's health and well-being in mind. Irei is hiding something too. But Irei is just a village doctor, which means he's nothing more than their pawn. If this is a conspiracy to assassinate the priest, then there's someone who's pulling the strings. I was starting to think that trying to tie the past two incidences forcefully to the village was a bit overbearing. But this incident confirms that there is a single purpose grounded in this series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. This incident has countless numbers of discrepancies, but someone from the village seems to be putting pressure on high command. And just like the past incidences, this one will be treated as an individual case and be forcibly forgotten. Since it happened 3 years in a row, everyone in the village will say it's the curse of Oyashiro. I think that this is the purpose of the culprit. After the war, Oyashiro-sama's faith became antiquated. Is someone committing these murders as a ritual to regain its dignity? The one pulling the strings must be the main Sonozaki family. Of course it must be. Come on, Oishi. Stop it. A few months have passed. Sonozaki Oryu decided the priest incident is part of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as the curse of Oyashiro-sama. After blurting it to all that, it was obvious that the priest would be cursed. At first, I simply wanted to avenge the old guy. But now, along with that incident, the traces of this village's faith, marked by these particular cases, are beginning to show an abnormal outline. Damn it, the old guy's killer is a human. I won't let them be confused with some stupid curse. Yeah, it is a human. They didn't know what they were doing, but, you know, it was human. Okay, so now that I have the Fruta couple's death and the third year curse, I should have a little more leeway with what to do. That's not yet. No, not yet. I think it's the first page. Third year course is required, and yes, red capsule, and then I can go to Rena. Finally getting here. The strange medicine that I hardly remember was a capsule. Or maybe it was an oval tablet. It was so red. Must have been a capsule. I can't imagine a tablet in that color. It must have been a capsule. I think it was a little bigger than a normal capsule. I think. I can't remember. Although I can hardly remember, if I see that medicine again, that'll refresh my memory. That medicine takes a human life. It takes a human soul, memory, emotion, and numbs the human body. There are no thoughts, no interests, no will to stay awake or asleep. There's no sense of time. What the fuck? Who is this? Sometimes a second can feel like an eternity, and other times it can almost see an hour hand move. Either way, there's no emotion. I can't feel any emotion. The medicine only lets me stay in bed and look up at the ceiling. Only the people who have taken it can understand this misery. Okay, I think I'm going to go out on a limb since the red capsule links to Rena. I'm going to assume this is Rena when she's on some crazy meds. After, she's fucking cuts herself. And, goes on a rampage after the divorce. What's more scary is that while I'm on the medication, I don't realize how scary it is. I'm given the medication daily, and I keep losing all my senses. So, when the medicine wore off by accident, I realized I shouldn't take the medicine again. See, that's actually the issue. A lot of times. Because, sometimes with, schizophrenic people and stuff like that, when they get medicine, and, they feel better and all that stuff, even though it's relative probably feel better, I doubt they actually feel that much better. And they don't go as nearly insane. Or, they don't hear as many voices, probably. But, if they skip a medicine, they're like, oh, I can never take that again. They're screwing with my mind. That kind of stuff. You get paranoid. And that's the issue, that sometimes under the medication, it's a little better than when you're without the medication. Even though it's probably still outdated and can be improved, and that's the goal of medicine, to get better. That's right. This is not a medicine to heal me. This is to kill me slowly. Is it, though? Is it? If I continue to take this medicine, I probably won't be able to tell if I'm dead or alive, and I would end up losing myself forever. I'll keep looking up at the ceiling without any emotion and keep watching a clock tick forever. If I take the medicine again, I'll lose all the senses I finally regained. Hey, look, what I was just fucking mentioning. Paranoia. I may never be able to bring myself back again. Since the day I realized it, I've been pretending to take the medicine, but throwing it away. Oh. If your doctor prescribes medication, you have to finish it, even if the symptoms are gone. I hear my mother's voice. Anytime I went to the doctor's office when I was a child, my mother said that to me. I usually got well before I finished all the medicine, so I didn't finish taking the rest. That's why my mother said that. But this is a different type of medicine. I don't even remember how old I was when my mother said that, but with this strange capsule in front of me, I tried to get rid of my mother's voice from inside of my head. I press down on my head with my elbows until it hurts, trying to get rid of what my mother kept telling me. Maybe you should take that medicine. Right. As my head clears, I start to remember the ugly side of my mother. My mother betrayed her family. She betrayed me and my father, who waited for her at home with dinner on the table. She told us she was busy with work, but she was having an affair. And what a fucking surprise. Hell, even I joked about that's what probably happened. It was kind of, you could see the writing on the wall. Later and later hours. Oh, look, promotion. Oh, look, business trips. That was bad enough, but she asked my father for a divorce after he took such good care of her for so many years. It's what happens sometimes. But there's something else I can't forgive her for. She invited only me to meet with her new family. Not my father, just me. Yeah, because she doesn't want to have to prove her failures and her mistakes. Because she knows what she did is wrong and she doesn't want to face up to it. Obviously. Duh. You're lucky that she invited you for that fact, because some people don't even want to do that because they don't want to. They know what they did is wrong and don't want to face it. They don't want to have the proof to show people what they've done. Usually that is. I mean, usually when someone robs a store, you don't want to invite people to come watch you. Generally speaking. My father and I are family. Family means being together. Yet my mother tried to destroy the bond between my father and me. Not only had she destroyed her bond with him, she tried to destroy my bond with him too. It's a very vindictive person. When I remember, it makes me feel angry and hateful, and I can't forgive her. What she did is wrong, and I did threaten to burn his house down, so I don't have much room to say what I'm about to say. Yeah, it's bad, but part of growing is accepting what has happened and just move on. I think the best case scenario for Rena would be just don't even think about her anymore. Kind of just put her into the recesses. Oh yeah, she was there. Yeah, it was. She had an affair. She left. Shit happens. I mean, I think that's the best way to deal with it. Of course, I'm in no position just to judge of how people should handle each in their own things, but I think that would be the best case solution in this case. The back of my eyes start to hurt, and I can feel that there's such hatred on my face. My overflowing hatred is aiming not only my mother, but also the man she had an affair with. See, that's who I'm more angry at. Because as a guy, there's the unwritten bro code and all that. And, never go out with a chick after she just broke up with your best man or your friend. You don't do that for a while, and until the guy actually gives his express approval, and that you can have sex with her. It's just those kinds of rules. It's courtesy to other guys. He should have known that, dude, that's someone else's. To put it into more primitive terms, that's his mate. You can't just trample all over his area. And it's just that kind of sense. That it's just unethical as a guy. If it's ever gets known that he did that, most of his friends are going to kind of disown him. Never allow him to meet their wives, that kind of thing. They'll give him the side-eye glance. Never trust him with anything big. No secrets will be told to him. It's just because he's not a trustworthy person. And that's just how guys operate. At least how I try to operate in that case. Because that's what I do to any guy that says, oh yeah, I cheated on this chick. I'm like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Come on. And that's how every guy I've known reacts in those situations. Because it's disrespectful and kind of stupid. As well. Oh no, not kind of. It is stupid. And it violates the rules. The unwritten rules that almost is, I want to say it's just genetics at this point. That's kind of just hard written into male brains. The man she had an affair with, Uncle Akihiko, because he knew better. He knew what he was getting into. It's his fault. He knew she was a married woman. He knew this, and he shouldn't have done that. Just on principle alone between men. No, you don't do that. I didn't like him teasing me, but he gave me an allowance all the time and tried to have fun with me. Oh wow, trying to buy your affection. I liked him very much. Nah, fuck him. But his niceness was all calculated. No shit. He wanted to destroy the family bonds between my mother, my father, and me. Yes. He's stupid if he wants to actually pursue like an actual relationship with her, because she's already proven that she's willing to, fuck around with any other guy. So he's just a fucking dumbass. And he'll be disowned by pretty much all of his friends. At least guy friends. Just like in their mental state, it'll just be subconscious thinking like, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. That's why I shouldn't have said I liked him very much. That's right. I'm starting to remember and understand. I know my true enemy. It was his fault that my mother started to have an affair. With him. She would have had an affair regardless, I guarantee it. It's his fault that it was him. But she's still to blame. Because guess what? It's not like he fucking raped her. And she's like, has Stockholm Syndrome at that point. No, she had as much equal amount of say, if not more say in the situation. Because my mother was a very good mother. He was the one who made her a bad mother. No. Yeah, that's just human nature. She was naturally a bad person. If it took that little to convince her to have an affair when she has a daughter. Come on. So he was the one to be blamed. When was the first time I met him? I think it was the time when my mother and I went out and had lunch at a restaurant. She introduced him as one of her colleagues at work. Red flag. Red flag. Immediately. It's like, you're going out to lunch with just a random colleague and you're bringing your daughter with you? Kind of odd. Just saying. Like, especially if, like, he knew, like, the husband knew about it. Oh, I'd be kind of pissed. I'd be like, who is this guy? Can I meet him? Can I talk to him? Because I have a really odd feeling about him. Like, because I can't imagine a child would say, oh, I met a cool guy today. Like, wouldn't say that. Most children do. At that time, if I think about that first meeting, I think I felt something wasn't right with the way my mother acted around him. That's right, I did. I did think that something was wrong. It didn't feel right. I wish I'd trusted my instinct then. I was a fool to think he was a nice person just because he gave me a strawberry on his piece of cake. Bribing children with food and money. Easiest thing in the world. God. Easiest way to get children to shut up as well. It was not my father's fault, because I bet he never met Uncle Akihiko. But I have. I've met him many times, and there were a lot of chances to realize he was my enemy. If I had a strong enough will to protect my happiness, I could have noticed him as my enemy. I can't forget my father on that day. My father, who was so nice and gentle, grabbed his knees so tightly and cried so hard on that day. Yeah, I don't blame him. That sucks. Good news is, that's called a fucking payday right there. She's making the money divorce. Oh, bitch, give me money. Whoo! And child support? Oh, hell yeah. Fucking raking in the money. Like, I'm sorry, that's subconsciously what I would have been thinking as well, as I'm like, oh man, this fucking sucks. I would have just broken a bunch of shit. Especially her stuff. Fuck her. I'm not the crying type. I'm more of I get pissed off. I usually have one emotion whenever I'm not happy, joking and all that stuff. Or just neutral. I usually just get pissed. I don't have an uncontrollable temper though. It's a slow boil. But once I get past that point, I just go into a fucking rage. He asked me if I knew Uncle Akihiko. I answered yes. You dumb. You always say no. Always say no. Then he slapped my face. Actually, that actually does go against my point then that she didn't tell him. Every time I've ever met children, good lord, they always talk about who they've met that day. So I just find it odd that children don't talk about, or at least Brenna didn't tell him, I met someone cool today. You know, just something weird. Just something like that. I just can't imagine not. Because it's just something I've always noticed when around children. When he slapped me, I finally realized how stupid I was for being taken in by him. I mean, yeah, you kind of were. That's right, it was my fault. No, it's not technically your fault. It's not your fault. I mean, the fact that you were born probably prolonged the fact that she didn't have an affair sooner. So, I mean, there's that going for it. I destroyed the happiness I hoped to last forever with my own hands. If I hadn't been that stupid, my father wouldn't have had to cry like that, and my mother would have stayed being a good mother. Wrong. Just wrong. She would have cheated eventually. I guarantee it. Next time she would have thought, okay, I'm never going to bring Reno around him, because last time she ruined my fun. So, fuck her. I'm going to have fun without her. It's just that kind of thing. She would have cheated eventually. It was only a matter of time. He's lucky it took that long, probably, because she's an extremely self-centered person. Just from the sheer fact that she viewed her job opportunity as significantly more important than her family life and the, possibilities of jobs and, future for her husband as well. It just shows she doesn't care about other people. If I wasn't that stupid, it was my fault. I can't forgive my mother and Uncle Akihiko. Even when I hate him this much, I still call him Uncle, and I can't forgive myself for that. It was my fault. Everything was my fault. I was too stupid, and that's why this happened. I felt the hatred, the sadness, and I couldn't calm my anger. If my mother ever came back to this house, I would rip her apart with my hand. I'd just smack a bitch, and that's it. I wouldn't rip her apart, I'd just give her a good fucking hit. Probably punch her. Maybe. I don't know. But she never came back. My anger turned towards everything that my mother left in the house. I destroyed everything my mother left in the house, one after another. I threw and smashed everything. But that still didn't calm my anger. Even after I turned the whole house upside down, I still couldn't calm down. Where does my anger gather? It starts from inside me, goes through my arms to my fingertips, and spurts from my nails. Where else can it go? Then my nails aim at my own body. I feel that my own body is the filthiest and most disgusting. I'm the one to be blamed. No, I didn't do anything wrong. My mother is the one to be blamed. My body and soul feel filthy. I want to rip myself apart into pieces. And one day I finally realized there are tons of maggots in my blood. Oh, god damn it. Can we not go back into this? It's so fucking so creepy. I am rotten. I'm rotten from the inside. Come on, rot more. But it is undescribably itchy. It is itchy, 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 itchy. I stabbed my thigh with a razor blade in the bathroom. Oh, God, can we not relive through this chapter? The blood flows out. She's actually lucky she didn't cut her femoral artery. It's like she cut deep, because how did she die? She'd have just straight up died, because she would have lost a fuck ton of blood. Reddish black maggots spill out. Ugh. I force myself to open the blood vessels with my thumbs. The maggots spill out. Bustle, 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 bustle. So many maggots spill out from my left thigh. Then my right thigh must have the same amount of maggots in its bloodstream too. Maybe my calves too. My arms, abdomen, chest, throat. No. How many maggots are there in my bloodstreams in my neck? Gah. Oh, god damn it, I hate this fucking creepy shit. Strangely, although I am becoming rather insane, there is still a part of me that is calm. Maybe? If I keep revving myself up like this, I'll end up dead. Yes.